Hey, everybody. Welcome to the
Jam Show. I'm Matt.
And I'm Justin.
Not necessarily in that order. The opposite order,
right.
usually.
Yes.
That's okay.
Hey.
You take French in school?
No, I didn't. Took Spanish.
Spanish.
My name was Jesus.
Jesus. You look like a Jesus.
I am Jesus. But
Jesus Reynolds.
At work, there's like this group email inbox that we all have
beautiful
access to. And like there was an IT email that got sent out with like a ton of different people like from all over the world on it.
Okay.
And so the last like week, all of these people have all been replying all to stop replying all, but in like a million, in so many different languages though. So I've been sitting here Googling, you know,
what does
all
this mean? Oh, reply.
Translate.
Oh, stop replying all.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. I don't know. It was just like a little funny every day I came in. Let's see how many emails. The most was like 64 emails.
Oh my god.
And it was awesome.
And and it's like you do have to kind of go through them all to at least know what you're deleting, you know?
Right, exactly, because there was like a warranty claim, you know what I mean, in between all of them. It's like, oh, well.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, we use Teams for most everything.
We use Teams too.
Yeah.
Teams and then Outlook email.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Boo. Work. Boo.
How you been?
Pretty good.
Poker this weekend?
Yeah, won a little money.
Poker in the front, liquor in the rear.
Yeah, I didn't drink though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You never drink.
No. It's not that I never drink.
Never.
Yes.
Not right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm drinking water right now.
Now you're drinking.
But no, it was I had a good time playing some poker.
Yeah, dude, it was really hard for me to not flake.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my wife and I was like, "Oh, I'm sure Justin's going to flake. I'll be there with a bunch
flake star.
Be there with a bunch of his friends and
that was my stomach.
Did you not eat again?
No, I did eat lunch. I'm not sure what's going on.
Digesting.
I ate 2 packs of tuna and an apple. I don't know that.
You're full up now.
Yeah.
But
ready to go.
I was telling him, I was like, I'm going to go and fucking lose $30. And
that's a lot of money.
I think so. You buy a lot of stuff for $30.
Right, dude.
And she was like, you have paid more money for a way worse time.
She knows.
Yeah. And so she helped me get there. And
well, that's what they're for.
I only sat in the car and waved to Kyle for about 10 minutes, building up some courage.
Nice.
Trying to drop down the anxiety levels.
Nice.
But
yeah.
I got in there, and we had a good time. I had a good time.
It was fun.
And I didn't drink either, and that was
nice.
I still had a good time. I'm glad.
It was fun. I ended up winning, and I didn't really plan on winning.
Yeah.
That was
I thought
weird.
I was going to be first out.
You thought so?
Yeah, I'm in there, and I'm like, so it's me, Mallory, I think Jeff was already there, and then Kyle and
Sack.
Sack wasn't there yet.
Oh.
Well, maybe he was. Not when this was happening.
Okay.
Kyle and his old lady, and so I'm like, tell me again how this works, and Mallory's like, oh, is that your plan? You fucking tell us you don't know how to play.
Dog.
And it's like, I know how to play poker, but Texas Hold'em is different. Especially, I mean, you get the big blind, little blind, passing the cards, and there's a lot of house rules things that I feel like I am not privy to.
Yeah, okay.
It's any game that I go into playing, I play my hardest. A lot of times I do get lucky.
Play to win, baby.
And I never mind losing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big key, is not caring about losing.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. But it was fun.
Yeah, what about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I started putting up this wall in my basement.
Nice.
I was getting pretty frustrated. I blew through a bunch of... So I was drilling into cinder block. Not something I do often.
A hammer drill.
Yes. Couldn't find my hammer drill. I messaged you about it.
Yeah. I was like,
I don't know.
Why would I have that?
But
it's not a bad guess, though.
Yeah, I ended up not being able to find it. So I borrowed a buddy's, and I'm like blowing through these bits. I don't know if it's the block was a couple blocks were a little harder than other ones or what, but
they were masonry bits.
Yeah, I had it on hammer. I had it on forward. So I don't know exactly what my deal was, but I got them all up.
So Harbor Freight's for.
Yeah, right. And I don't think I broke my buddy's drill. That's another thing I'm always worried about.
Oh yeah.
fucking up people's tools.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But that's the majority of what I did. Oh, dude, did I show you any of these Bird Buddy pictures I got?
Bird Buddy pictures.
A buddy,
no.
a pal of mine got this fucking bird feeder that's like Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And so it sends you pictures of the birds.
Oh, like while they're using it?
Yeah.
No way. Oh, that's cool. It's like a little trail cam.
Yeah, so if you swipe to the left there's a little short video. But I've seen like sparrows,
that's
and
neato,
cardinals,
man. And if you put one of these on mine, you'd see squirrels and deer.
I'm gonna go to this guy's house one time and like get into it so he sees my face.
You're like, hey Matt, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? Steal all my bird seed.
Shit, that's cool though.
Yeah, that's my new favorite app. So I'm glad he hooked me up.
So you can like, he gave you a birdhouse. You can log into his birdhouse.
Yes, he gave me like a link.
That's kind of weird.
There was one time where it was like I don't know what he's got it on, but it was like it's been doing full 360s.
It's just like spinning in circles.
Yeah. And at one point it was pointed at his house, and I was like, "This is kind of weird."
Like, hey, dude, you know there's another guy coming into your house like right after you leave, right?
That would be a crazy way to find out. You're like, "Oh shit, fucking cardinal showed up in my fucking bird feeder. Hey, who the fuck is that guy?"
Damn, bro, sneaky.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, shit.
You watch any good movies lately?
Good movies lately, man. I'm a bum when it comes to watching movies.
Yeah,
Ask Lauren, I'm just a fucking lame.
You just fall asleep. Oh my god.
Oh, podcast. Da-na-na-na. But I don't know. Yeah, I do fall asleep, even at the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I've done that. I forgot what the Black Panther maybe would have been the last movie I fell asleep at. I can't
know
remember.
if I would have necessarily gone to the movies to see a Marvel movie.
Lauren's a big Marvel fan. That's why.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, Iron Man.
Ooh,
that's her man.
Guys with money.
That's the guy I'm competing with. So, like, fuck.
I watched that new Netflix movie Hustle with Adam Sandler. It's about basketball.
Okay.
I'm not a basketball guy.
All right.
But I watched that Uncut Gems. If you see that,
I saw parts of that. That's like I think a movie I fell asleep in.
Oh, that movie kept me on the edge of my seat.
It was a little too. I don't know. Maybe I turned it off. They were like yelling a lot.
Yes,
there was a lot, and I'm not the biggest Adam Sandler fan.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like him.
I don't know.
I kind of sort of grew up with him.
Yeah.
I was a little late in the era, but I watched all the movies when I was younger.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck my problem is. Maybe it's my problem.
Oh, actually, I have a list of that. Do you want me?
Oh yeah, add it to it.
But Hustle was a good movie. It was about some kid from Spain that Adam Sandler found trying to get to the NBA, and they're just going to all these like practices, and he was doing construction and playing like street basketball. You ever play that street basketball video game?
Oh yeah,
NBA Street or something.
Oh fuck yeah, we played fucking. That's the way we played basketball too. We tackle each other and shit.
But it was a good movie.
Oh,
some sort of amount of overcoming diversity and this and that. But it was a good flick, I thought.
You've been watching The Last of Us?
No, I haven't. We've been watching Ozark.
Everybody's been watching The Last of Us.
Yeah,
man.
We're late on getting into Ozark,
yeah.
But is The Last of Us that good?
I haven't been watching it either, so yeah, I know. The few episodes I have watched, it seems better than The Walking Dead.
Okay.
I did play the Last of Us video game.
I tried to, couldn't get into it.
You couldn't get into it? I thought it was one of the the last game I played on console.
Really?
I think it was on a PlayStation 3, which I never owned. It was somebody else's console.
Nice.
But it was like probably one of the best games I'd ever played, I thought.
I feel like video games have gotten so railroady lately.
Like, you mean like they're just
I like open world stuff.
Oh, me too. Fucking Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That was
you ever play like the original Resident Evil?
The original Resident Evil. I don't. I mean, my boy Jeff Brewer, he used to have all kinds of like, God, what was that system called? It was like a Dreamcast.
Okay.
And we played all kinds of fucking old school fucking like Resident Evil type games. I don't know if they were I don't know what system was the original one.
Original was on PlayStation.
PlayStation?
PlayStation Uno.
Fuck. I had a PlayStation.
The Dreamcast was a good system because
it was ahead of its time, dude. The graphics were anyway. I felt like
it was a lot of good 3D for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dreamcast, the types of files that it used, you could burn the games, and you didn't have to have any sort of like an encryption or nothing like that.
Oh, so you could just copy.
You just fucking copy games all day.
Man,
my brother got me a Dreamcast when it was like 4 years out of style, and he just burned me this fat stack of games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like he got it. I think he got it used, and
wow,
and all the games were essentially free. So
yeah. Anyway, no, never played Resident Evil.
Oh, but it's kind of like you're just walking down a hallway,
right?
The way I feel,
right? Exactly. Well, also, I mean, the fucking new games, they're all coming out not completely finished. That's kind of like trying to think of an example. That somebody was telling me, like Halo, the last Halo that came out, like it came out and it wasn't polished enough to play. So by the time everybody was like, they were already sick of it by the time it got all polished up and playable. So it's crazy. And then it's like, they're just trying to sell you a game and then get all these add-ons, and they're just finding new ways of value streams, income streams off of video
games.
Which
I could understand for games like Fortnite or Call of Duty,
right,
where you buy the game to play multiplayer, and you get add-ons for if you just change
the way your character looks, and you're paying money for skins.
Well, like you would have a solo mode, but you buy the game for multiplayer, and that's the same map, the same things always happen. Polish that up, and then as you create solo modes, then you release them and you pay $5 a solo mode.
That's kind of what they do. There's kind of games that do that.
That's what I would think would be the best to market.
Those motherfuckers. You're the man.
Well, I mean, I don't know nothing about video game design, but I feel like I know a little bit about people.
You know how people work. I was actually looking at doing some video game developing classes the other day because
oh yeah,
through my contractor company Actalent, they provided me with a Udemy business account.
Oh,
so
dude,
I get infinite free Udemy courses.
Dude, you got to get on that.
So it's like, I'm just like, what do I want to do?
Yeah,
basically, you know what I mean.
I just canceled Audible.
Okay, that's not good.
Well, I used all the credits. I got some books. One that I did get was Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
It's a classic.
Yeah, I shouldn't have got that one.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, there's plenty of other better books.
Well, right, and I was just like...
Thinking Slow and Fast by Daniel Kahneman.
Oh. If you delete your account, you lose all your credits.
Oh.
So I had to burn through the credits really quick.
Oh, you son of a...
And there was a couple other... I probably should have hit you up for it.
Should have. I had... I got lists.
Well, they should have been on the fucking wish list.
Touche.
Although I cleaned up the wish list every once in a while without you knowing.
You took off all my...
Dude,
all of them.
You put on 5 books a week, dude.
I have, like, a desire to read a lot of books, but my discipline of reading the books is not so good.
Right.
I have a whole shelf of books I still haven't really read.
I got a lot, too.
Ouch.
You want to get into the book we're reading?
Sure, we can do that, yeah.
So for those of you who are new, now that we're at like the 14-minute mark, me and Justin just jam out, do some bullshitting. We've been reading Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen.
Yes.
That's Joseph Nguyen.
That's so
Nguyen.
Confusing. Yes.
We've been doing 2 chapters a episode. We're going to be doing chapter 4 and 5 this episode.
Exciting. Very exciting.
So chapter 4, Thoughts versus Thinking. And they all start out with a quote that I just like to read.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I try not to read the whole chapter, but sometimes I feel like it all really flows together.
It's really short, too, though.
Very short.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like he's really packing a lot in there.
Yeah. So the quote at the top of the chapter is, "Stop thinking and end your problems," by Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu, yes, that's a good one.
I'm not sure my problems would end if I stopped thinking. Stop thinking about your problems?
Well, you remember that other book that we have on Audible, Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. He kind of talks about people getting into flow states, right? Where I mean, when you're like doing something, you're not necessarily thinking, right?
Yeah.
And I think that might be sort of what they're referring to.
Yeah, and we'll go more into it because that's what this chapter is about. But I definitely feel that now that you say it like that, I feel like that at work.
Right.
At the old place, I feel like there was just everything was constantly moving, and
we were constantly firefighting. That was the problem.
Yeah,
it seemed like, right?
Yeah.
You're
so there were always
issues.
issues
Responding to something.
But at this new job I got, I do feel like I get into a flow. It makes the days go by quick.
Oh yeah.
But the time is not bad. You know, like you go and do something that kind of sucks, maybe, and then all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock at night or something.
Right.
You got nothing left for the day.
Yeah.
But at my work, I'll get into this state and I'll get a bunch done and look up. Oh my God, it's only been 3 hours.
Okay.
You know, but I feel like I got so much done.
All right.
So that's one thing I have really been enjoying about this job. And you know what? The times that I do get frustrated is when I hit a speed bump and I'm like, why is this like that?
Oh, dude. Oh, man. That has happened so many times at this job because, I mean, maybe we should tell the audience a little bit about our career change so then we're not just,
okay,
so baseball.
We both worked in manufacturing quality for
an aerospace company.
Yeah, essentially government stuff.
Yeah, there were a large everything essentially we worked on was I don't know if it
wasn't
military.
Straight government, it was a third party between us and the government.
Exactly. Right.
And I had just recently taken a pay cut to work at a authoring company for agricultural manuals. To be able to work.
Johnny D.
Well, yeah, we do live in the Quad Cities. I guess that's not necessarily hard to come by. But I wanted to do this so that I could work from home a couple of days a week, just kind of change up the way my life works. And they're super relaxed on time. They're like, if you're sick, go home, make up the time, come in later, work, take a couple hours off. You got to go do doctor stuff, come back.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the things I really like about my new job.
Yeah.
Which I got a new gig as a quality engineer at Kone Escalator Factory.
So you went up in quality, and I got out of it.
Right. So your position's not considered quality at all now.
No, not really. Well, no, because quality for me is like I have to send everything I write to an editor, and they do quality for grammar.
Oh, right on.
And then I got to send it to two different...
It's a different kind of product you're producing, right?
Yeah, it's very different.
Wow, that's awesome, though.
Yeah, but you keep going about your job.
No, yeah, I can't even remember exactly where I was going with it, but so quality engineer at the Kone Escalator Factory, and I'm absolutely loving it. Mm-hmm. I worked at are we saying the name of the company? Or
I
no?
just say the old place.
If
we're going to call it anything, I prefer Cobham.
Yeah, we'll call it Cobham. Worked there for like 7, almost 8 years.
Yeah, I was there for 5.
It's hard to leave a job sometimes.
It really is. They were paying good.
Paying well.
You had a bunch of
comfortable place.
Bunch of benefits.
The benefits there were arguably really good.
Yeah,
they had a full-time barista.
Which was dangerous.
Were you there when we were on strike and I ordered a coffee and she brought it out to us?
Well, no, you know what? I wasn't there.
Okay,
you told me about it.
All right. But that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
She got in trouble for that, dude.
Yeah, she did. That was the highlight of the strike for me, I think. But, yeah, anyway, my point was that it's hard to leave a job. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let alone
even a shitty job.
Go and apply for a job that you're not really qualified for. Yeah. Right? I mean, majority of places require some sort of a degree.
Do you get a bunch of phone calls for people trying to get you jobs?
I do. I had to turn settings off on my LinkedIn so people would stop contacting me.
I need to do that on my
Indeed. Yeah. Well, somehow people have gotten my email. I'm assuming just because once you put your resume out there, it's just like once it gets in some sort of a recruiting database.
Yeah.
And they just spam the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And so it's like all these. I mean, not to be racist, but there's like a lot of Indian recruiting jobs, and I'm like, I know this is not fucking real.
Well,
I mean, maybe it is.
I don't know about that, but I mean, all of our IT is through India.
Yeah, ours is too.
And so it's like, one, I feel bad asking for, like, calling them to ask for anything, because when I call them, when it's 7 o'clock here, it's like 2 a.m. there.
You asshole, dude.
Yeah, and there is a language barrier. Although they know way more English than I know Indian.
They trump you.
So,
yeah.
You know, I'm not saying there's anything inherently bad about.
You need to learn Indian then.
Yes.
What language is it that they speak over there?
Hindu, or is that a religion?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Podcat knows.
Yeah, thanks for breaking that up, Dr. Satan. Thoughts are the energetic, mental raw materials from which we use to create everything in the world. Thinking, on the other hand, is the act of thinking about our thoughts.
I didn't have any thoughts about it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't like it.
Don't become too depressed.
Yeah.
What is a dream? Okay, so here's a question. I'll take a little bit of time to answer this and stuff. What is the dream amount of money you want to be making a year? First thoughts.
A little bit more than what I'm making now.
I was just gonna say $1 more.
Oh, no, like $100,000 a year.
$100,000 a year for you?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be happy making $50,000 a year.
I just think with $100,000 a year, I could be real happy.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Yeah, I'd be real happy. I just would like to be able to help other people out more. Where right now I necessarily don't.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think about it in my head.
What would be the first thing you do if you were making that kind of money?
If I was doing that kind of money, I'd probably buy myself something. You know, some parts for the ab.
All right, so now take that amount of money and multiply that by 5. What do you think about this new dream goal for your income when you multiplied it by 5?
I'm now in the top 1%. If
$500,000 for you.
If you made a $500K.
$250,000 for me.
$250,000. You a fucking bitch.
I don't dream that big.
Yeah.
I feel like, thinking about it now, I feel like I would be working way too hard for that money.
For the $250,000?
Yeah. I feel like I'd be working so hard.
It depends.
I feel like it would have to be a dead-end job is the way I perceive it. So it's like,
if you were working for yourself and you were making that kind of money, I feel like it's a lot different than if you were working for somebody else making that kind of money, right?
Well, and that's the thing. We'll go back to that. Let me see if let me see if this ties in. After I asked the first question, what is your dream amount of money you want to be making per year? Within a few seconds, you had an answer popped into your mind. That is a thought. Notice how quickly and effortlessly it came to you. After an answer popped into your mind, I asked you to think about your answer. If you're like most people, you probably went on a wild roller coaster once you began thinking about the thought. You might have been thinking how there's no way you can make that much, no way your family is making that much money. You don't know how to make that much money. It's stupid to want that much money, or it makes you greedy. Notice how you felt when you were thinking about those thoughts. And I definitely resonate with that. My first instinct was I would be working too hard for that money. I would have no social life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I took a pay cut to do this job that allows me to be more flexible.
Right.
Like I was almost, I don't know if I was necessarily looking for a pay cut.
Right. You would have preferred to not take the pay cut, right. I'm sure.
But I was...
The flexibility is...
I was more than happy to take a pay cut because I prefer to consider my life over the money.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at now, the amount of flexibility of, like, I mean, it's not too much flexibility. It's just, any time between 6 and 8 o'clock, I can essentially show up.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to report out until 8
a.m. Be
here
from 9 to 2. The rest is flexible.
And then it's like, I didn't even, getting the job, I had no idea that I'd be able to work from home. But after I got, my first job responsibilities, it's like that, once I got up to speed, and now that I'm kind of fluent in Escalator, I can do the job from home. And I was like, my manager she's super awesome, so it's like she's allows me to work from home when I need to. It's just like I would almost take a little bit of a pay cut, to stay there. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know, that's that flexibility is worth money, I think.
Yeah, being treated like a human
as an adult, I think, is the main thing, but also as a human, right?
I mean, when I consider adults, my first thought is somebody who can stick to a schedule, who can wake up at 5 to be somewhere by 6 and already have coffee and have a lunch made. And I'm like, that ain't me.
No, I don't. That isn't necessarily an adult. That is a good trained worker.
Yeah.
Right? That's somebody who's disciplined.
And I guess that's what that's always been my first thought of what an adult is.
I think
but being an adult now,
a good way to judge it is like how like your bosses talk to you or deliver messages where they're like, you know, most of the guys out on the shop floor, they're always like giving group messages.
Yeah.
Right. You're never, and we're now being in a salaried position in the office. It's always like a one-on-one. It's like they're talking to you individually, and it's just, it's so much different than being out on the shop floor out of anywhere else I've been. And it's, I don't know, it's so awesome.
The place I'm at is super small, and my boss shows up. He doesn't even say hi to me.
I feel like this place is super small compared to Cobham too, but Cobham I felt huge. Like even if you compared like the machine shop you were at prior to Cobham, like small, right? Yeah. Even probably smaller than the fab department inside of Cobham, maybe.
Yeah, and arguably maybe a larger footprint. But there was just so many people crammed into that place.
There was just so many people. So it was
on top of each other.
I mean, that was a really learned a lot of shit working there. It's kind of, you know what I mean.
It was an experience for sure.
I'm glad I am able to lean on that too right now.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, oh, you know, at the aerospace company we did this. But the shitty thing is, it's like at that aerospace company we had the funds, right,
of the government
to just fucking spend money on dumb shit.
Oh yeah.
Like that $15,000 solderability tester that they had purchased because we had been using that hot plate and beaker for who knows how long.
And then also that welder.
Yeah.
However much that fucking battery welder costs.
So silly.
But yeah, and you were just saying, you know, if I could make $100,000 doing what I wanted to do, it would be different. And it would be different. That is nowhere near what my first thoughts would have been.
Right. Well, my first initial thought was like, I don't need, like, I went the direction I felt like you went, where it's like, well, I shouldn't want that much money because I should be able to live off less, right? But that was just like the training correcting me and my thought. But I'm like, $100,000, that's not unreasonable for me in the next 5-10 years.
Oh, I'd say less than that.
I mean, it's honestly, and then $500,000, I'm like, I mean, I would probably not ever be making that and profit myself, but I could maybe start a company that made $500,000 a year.
Right, and that's what I'm thinking. If I can learn, I took the pay cut to come here, and I'm learning to live on that. And with it being less money, I'm hoping to learn how to live on less. So maybe when my wife's business starts making enough to pay me, or if I can start a different business and learn how to make half to as much as I'm making now. And I wouldn't even mind, 3 days a week, work some fucking $12 an hour job at a hardware store or something, and kind of goof off with that. Just because, I like working, like being around people. I like having set tasks. And if I could live off of it, I'd be working at like a mom and pop hardware shop or even a Lowe's, and then you get fucking discounts on wood and shit.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's just me, dude. I'm a guy that likes simple things.
I mean, you could just own one rental property.
Yeah, that'd be great too. That's like,
I forgot what's the
you
math.
own one rental property.
I do, and I'm a little biased. But it's like I think about the extra income that provides. I got one unit, and I think I was renting it at $650. I want to say. Does that add up? If you multiply that by 12, that adds to $8,000. Is that right?
$650.
I have a calculator right here.
When are you ever gonna have a calculator in your pocket?
Oh boy, I don't know. 7,800. So I think it was 675. Oh right, yeah, I think it might have been 675. But anyway, that's about $8,000.
Yeah,
in income. How many hours would you have to work at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. I like going to the store.
It's 540 hours at $15 an hour.
540?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And if you want to think about it, like your rental, there's tons of work to do. You just set yourself up to be a maintenance man to work on those. And then as you just, there's a YouTube.
And that would fulfill my desire to work with my hands, to be task oriented.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, I try to push rental properties on everybody. I think
Every
you know
about it.
I think you know that.
Yeah.
And while we were playing poker last night, I was trying to talk Jeff into buying a.
Somehow you were winning every other hand, and all you were doing was talking to Jeff about rentals.
And watching UFC fights at the same time. But I was trying to talk him into buying a rental, which now after I got home and thought about it, I was like, that property too expensive. You 200 at the end of the day, like a property like that, you want to be able to pay the mortgage yourself with no renters in there. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario, you need to be prepared for.
Yeah, you do need to be prepared for it.
Because my rental, there's been situations where I haven't had any renters in it, so I need to be able to pay the full mortgage, right? Yeah. And $100,000 for a rental, much more reasonable of a mortgage payment, right? Yeah. So, and I guess it all depends on your rates and how much money you put down and all that shit, but.
Let's get back to the book.
Fuck that.
I use my feelings as an internal radar that tells me whether I'm getting direct downloads of thoughts from the universe or if I am in my head thinking about my thoughts. If I'm having a lot of negative emotions, I know that I'm thinking too much. This is another example of how we're naturally built for success. What do you think about that?
It's a little foo-foo.
I would agree with that.
Because, I mean, sometimes I don't know, like, it's not all rainbows and fairies, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes constructive things are, I don't know.
Well, and also the idea of thought being negative, it's like, I struggle with something I do, I fuck up. We all fuck up. It's nothing new. And then I'm like, how do I constructively move forward from here? How do I not make this mistake again?
Exactly.
Because I find myself making the same mistakes over and over. It makes me feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that.
And then a lot of times people are like, dude, just let it go. It's not that big a deal. Just let it go. It's like, if I let it go, I'm going to make the same mistake and it's going to hurt people down the line. And I definitely don't want to hurt people.
I mean, sounds like you're making the mistake either way, Matt.
You're not wrong.
You should probably let it go.
Yeah, you're not wrong. At the very least, it could not affect me and my life as much.
I mean, maybe you just got to try something different. Oh my God, this chair is so noisy.
Yeah.
I barely moved and it was just
it's not that noisy when Dave sits there.
Well, Dave probably doesn't move at all.
He's not all squirming around.
Dude.
Anyway. Shout out to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast. If you like this podcast,
oh, it's great. What episode are you guys on? Almost 50, right?
We just released today, which is last week, episode 46.
Whoa.
And it was about the secrets of the Vatican.
Nice. That's I might actually tune into that episode. That sounds pretty interesting.
It's very interesting. Me and Dave always end up going back and forth kind of on opposite ideas about it.
You guys are kind of opposites in a lot of ways, I feel like.
I looked up kind of more conspiracy theory stuff.
Okay.
And I thought that's for sure what Dave would look up.
Yeah.
Did not. He did not look that up.
Oh. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tune in.
Yeah, it's full of underground bunkers and Nazis and time travel.
What was the last episode about haunted houses? That was a really good episode too.
Oh, with my sister-in-law.
Yes, I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, which you're all about retail.
Exactly.
So.
That's why it was right up my alley. I was like,
real estate, not retail.
Yeah.
Okay, that's chapter 4. So chapter 5, if we can only feel what we're thinking, we don't need to think positively to feel that way? ?
Can you repeat that?
If we can only feel what we're thinking, don't we need to think positively to feel that way? So if you're thinking about bad stuff, you feel bad. If you're thinking about good stuff, you should feel good then, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah. And that
I don't know, is it? What's he say next?
Well, every chapter tops off with a quote. So this one is, we are ever only one thought away from peace, love, and a joy, which comes from a state of no thought. And that's Dickon Bettering. Bettinger. Oh, Dickon Bettinger.
Okay.
So we are always only one thought away from peace, love, and joy, which comes from a state of no thought.
No thought. Yes. Yeah. Meditate, dude.
Meditation. That's
right.
A lot of what this book says.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to start meditating.
I've been trying.
How's it going?
Inconsistent.
That's all right.
But I've been trying to. One of the last couple of podcasts I was talking about, I believe that I have at some point thought myself out of pain, out of
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I am finding it harder to do that right now. I don't know if it's depression or what.
Just in a funk.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been taking a toll on me.
That's rough.
It's hard to not enjoy almost anything.
That's hard. That's rough, dude. That's deep.
Well, and I was talking to the wife, the last time I remember truly being happy and being able to do the things. I used to work at her shop a lot. I used to, go and help do things there, put stuff up, take pictures, this and that. I used to be able to come home and build a wall or, create something, maybe do a little bit of music and stuff. And I have lost that for so long. And it kind of dawned on me when she was saying, like, how long have I been doing the podcast? The Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast. It's been over 1.5 years.
Okay.
And so, like, a lot of that was around when I got my DUI.
Yeah. Well,
started the podcast. I had a lot of family stuff going on with my kid.
Oh, yeah.
And all that, maybe stacked up, was just taking a lot of time away.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine that probably just, couldn't escape it. Losing your license.
Yeah.
If I would put that out there. But, no, I could definitely see how that would put you into a rut of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can already see you coming out of it. You know what I mean?
Getting my license back was a big one.
Yeah.
But also she, kind of reminded me that I'm doing now a weekly podcast every week.
Right. That is something, right?
Yeah. It has turned into a little bit of work because I got to edit them every week. And then I got to do the research as well.
That's a lot of work. I'm really slacking because you're doing all the work over here.
I don't know. I have this podcast set up so that I can spend time with my friends in a meaningful way to me. I'm all for losing $30, game of poker, sitting around, fucking smoking fat cigars and drinking whiskey.
Doobies. We're in Illinois.
Yeah, legal. But I love creation. And I have just taken it from, building goofy props and drawing and music that I have done all those things in the past. And now it's a podcast. And I need to remember that.
Right, yeah. No, absolutely. You kind of honed your craft into something a little more, something that you can get out to the masses at a rate that you couldn't do with your art, per se, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have so much art and, like, music written. And, like, I've done everything from poetry to writing stories. And, yeah, this is actually getting out there.
Yeah.
And that is the work part, is editing it, posting it to the internet. It costs
the technical aspect, right?
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
And that is one thing that I have to remember is I am now committed to an art form, which doesn't always feel like it in the moment.
No, yeah. I mean, it does not feel like we're making art, but I mean, you're creating a product.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Saying that, would you consider like the news to be an art form?
Well, I guess so.
It's all about delivery, right?
It is an art form. I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, chapter 5. We can only ever feel negative emotions when we are thinking. The goal isn't necessarily to completely stop feeling negative emotions. Some of the negative emotions can be helpful, such as feeling fearful when deciding to walk down a dark alley alone with no one else in sight. Which is the brain's way of trying to keep you alive.
I guess that's kind of what I was saying before. There's some good to negative, basically, thinking.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and I guess as people, we probably wouldn't have negative thinking if it didn't benefit us. Oh my God, I'm thinking negatively about that cat. We wouldn't have it if it didn't have some sort of
survival benefit, right?
Yeah, benefit, yeah.
That's got some evolutionary trait, obviously.
When I mention that we can only ever feel that we're thinking, most people assume that we must think positive to feel positive emotions. Recall a time when you felt the most joy and love you've ever felt in your life, and feel the feelings that you felt at that time as much as you can for at least 30 seconds. What kind of thoughts were going through your mind at the peak moment when you felt the most joy and love? You have a time you'd like to share?
The most joy and love. Ooh, there are lots of feelings there. I don't know.
I mean, I can't pigeonhole one time, but when I read this, I was thinking about going on a family vacation with the wife and the boy. We had camped at a Jellystone with it's like a themed campground around like Yogi Bear.
Okay.
Awesome. I did it when I was a kid with my mom, and I thought it was super cool. So we made sure to make a stop there when we were going on this trip. And me and the kid bought unlimited mini golf passes.
Nice.
And dude, we played mini golf for like 3 hours, and it was just me and the boy, not thinking outside of the putts,
the moment, right?
Yeah,
being in the moment, maybe.
Yeah, and just making jokes and just zinging them back and forth and just being in love with my son.
I think that's kind of one of the points that he's trying to get to. You could almost like put a sliding scale where one end is, being completely in the moment in your body, and the other end is completely being lost in thought, right?
Yeah.
And it's like oftentimes the more lost in thought you get, the more unhappy you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I thought the mini golf was such a good metaphor because, my kid's up and he's putting and I'm, making fun of him. We're goofing off. And then I get up and putt and I got to think about the putt. And then you either make it or you don't, and you think about not making it. And that is the moment that it starts to be negative, is when you start thinking about, a missed shot or
how
something.
well you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You start caring about, I don't know. Yeah, some people like being competitive, though.
Well, that sounds like you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. Gym class.
And I think that's just kind of a micro scale of, how quickly it can start and stop. And I'm not a terribly competitive person. So if I miss the shot, as soon as it's over, it's like, whatever.
You don't care. Right.
But it's just like how much of a stop and start it has with thinking.
No, absolutely.
For many people, the answer that answer this, they realize they don't have any thoughts during that exact moment. You do not have to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions. Here's why we don't need to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions, like joy or love. Our natural state of being is joy, love, ecstasy, freedom, and gratitude. This may be hard to believe because if it's natural, why don't we feel that way all the time?
Because we're taught to be in pain, right? I mean, that's usually...
You're taught to go to school and do the work. Go to the work and
conditioned
get a paycheck.
To be like, I don't conform, so I hate myself, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of it too. If there's 10 kids in a classroom and one of them likes something different, they're gonna get made fun of.
Yeah, that's weird. So weird.
Yeah. I think a lot of this overthinking is definitely social norms.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely think yourself into a hole thinking of what you think somebody thinks about you.
That happens to me all the time. I will think that
I used to be like that. Somehow I fucking quit doing it because I just somehow convinced myself not to give a fuck about it.
I'll think that my wife's mad at me all the time, and then I get into a bad mood. She's like, "Why are you in a bad mood?" "Well, because you're mad at me." "No, I'm not."
Oh.
And it's like, I just wasted fucking 5 hours of my life on nothing.
Yeah, don't do that, man.
Yeah, I try not to.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let's look at the natural state of a baby. Are babies naturally stressed, anxious, fearful, and self-conscious? Or are they naturally in a state of bliss, happiness, and love? Our natural state of being is joy, love, and peace. Therefore, any thinking that we will do only takes us away from those natural states of being, which is why whenever we feel extremely stressed, we have a lot of thinking going on.
Kind of lines up exactly with my little metaphor of the sliding scale, right? Wow. It's almost like I listened to the book already. Weird.
To see the truth in this, recall a few other memories you had when you were extremely stressed and anxious, and see how much thinking was going on at that time. Imagine our mind has a speedometer, like a car, but instead of miles per hour, it's thoughts per minute. The more we think we have going on, the higher the thought-o-meter goes, and if we have enough thinking going on, it'll go into the red zone. This is when we feel extremely stressed, burnt out, frustrated, and angry. It is not the content of our thinking that causes us stress, but that we are thinking, period.
You agree with that?
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, how do you think positively? Is it possible to think positively?
I think so.
But to me, when people say think positive, it's because something shitty's happening and you're thinking negatively.
I'm just thinking about like a meditation exercise where you picture somebody that you love, you know, or like,
obviously.
And or one of your friends, and you just like sit there and wish good things for them. You wish for them to be happy. You I don't know. And then that's called
gratitude or
meta love and kindness meditation, I believe is what that's called. But another powerful one of that is where you envision like a younger version of yourself, and you sit there and wish happy things for that person. That's a powerful one. I mean, if you stick with the meditation, eventually you'll come across that one. But I don't know. I mean, you just it's just like doing gratitude practice, right? I mean, it's a muscle, I think, that you get better at.
Yeah, definitely.
Ever since I've gotten this new job, it's something that I've been, I guess, more cognizant of daily, of how grateful I am, and every day.
Yeah, and
I
hopefully
make it a point to say it out loud. You know?
And hopefully you don't fall into that trap of the monotony of only focusing on the negative.
Oh no, absolutely, because I'm already looking at my next move. Well, there's so many jobs inside of Kone, and
well, and you're a contracted employee.
Yeah,
just for 12 months, right?
Right, yeah. I only have 150 days left on my contract.
Really?
Yep.
And well, okay, 150 days is actually longer than I would think.
It's like 5 months.
Yeah.
Right. Over the 6-month mark. But my manager's already said that she plans on hiring me. I don't know if there's like something that has to happen, because Kone just went through like a restructuring where they got rid of 1,000 people.
Dang.
But that was mostly in Finland, I think, and then a lot on the elevator side and in Asia, because the Asian market has been, I guess, going down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
So to wrap up chapter 5, the less thinking we have, the more space we create for positive emotions to naturally surface. I think you at least have more room, or you at least have less room for negative thought if you're not thinking.
I do agree that if you can get to that like basal state of awareness or consciousness, or I guess whatever that base state of awareness of your consciousness is, if you can get to that level, then it is just pure joy and ecstasy. Like, I don't know if I've told you this before, but like meditating, it's like a lot like you can get to a point where it almost feels like a high, and you're just I don't know what that state is. You know what I mean?
Well, they say that like for like running too, right?
Oh, there's definitely a runner's high. There's just like the well, ice baths. You know,
yeah.
like, but they've proven that that's a dopamine rush.
Oh, okay.
That's like equivalent to cocaine.
Really, the ice bath.
Yeah, same. It's like 200% or something like that. But I don't know what that state is. It's just like it is a state of non-thought, and it's just there's a steady stream of information coming into your brain, and you cannot, I don't know, influence it with all the other, stuff that you've been taught. Essentially, the way society has been trying to mold you,
been letting people down.
Right. Well, so that's society for you. They want you to be a useful member to society, so society can keep going. We don't need you living in the woods by yourself. That doesn't help us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need
because that probably would help most people.
Yeah. Absolutely. I spend a week in the woods every year, and that is so recharging. Being away from the cell service and all that shit.
Yeah. When I go camping, a lot less cell phone time, and you have plenty of amenities when you camp, but sometimes you're forced to meet new people, to be alone. There's so many things.
Yeah, I mean, you are forced to like live. You're forced to be in your body a little bit, right?
Like, yeah, build your own fires.
Or you have to sit and socialize around a fire, or something like that. And I don't know. Good for you,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. There's something to be said about not being able to flip on a TV, and even like my TV in that situation is an audiobook. Sit by a fire, turn on an audiobook that me and the wife probably won't pay attention, but that's good stuff.
Oh yeah, I want to go camping right now. Just go cook some shit over the fire.
Yeah, I want to go camping at what's that, Buzzard Ridge, where you got to pack in and out.
Oh yeah,
I would love to do that this year.
That would be sweet. Man, that's a lot of gear.
I would just take a tarp or something, try to make sure the weather's okay. Lots of bug spray, maybe.
I guess.
I want to try to push myself.
But it's just like, all right, you're not car camping, right? So now you're backpacking. And then it's like, oh, you got to get all the backpacking gear.
Well, I guess even to carry food.
That's what I mean. Like, do you have like a cart to carry all that shit into the woods? Or are you going to be literally backpacking? Like Brad did, or you literally you're carrying everything in your backpack.
Yeah.
I think it was like 60 or 70 liter backpack or something like that.
I guess you'd probably want a good backpack.
Well, yeah, it's giant. But I mean, like, you have your fucking tent in there, all your cooking shit, your food, your sleeping pad. Is that what you're planning on doing?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
I'd probably be way less prepared. I'd probably flake out halfway through the time I wanted to be out there because I'd be so unprepared.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like you're not going to be camping very far in if this is the situation. You can't carry this shit very far. But that's car camping. I don't know. Go do it. Just go do it.
Exactly. If it turns into car camping, whatever.
Fuck it. Somebody shits by your tent? Fuck it.
Would somebody do that? Would you do that?
I would.
Oh, come on.
Only if I knew it was your tent, though.
Oh, come on. And then it rains and it, like, washes in.
Underneath your tent. And you're like, dude, what is that smell?
Carrying it around in my backpack.
Nice.
Oh, gross.
Shit.
Oh, do you remember me saying, I think it was last podcast we talked about UFOs?
Yes.
Do you remember me saying that I thought it was going to be a cover-up?
I don't remember, sorry.
No problem. But, I thought the government was going to be hiding something. So at that same time, the European, what's it called? The Nord Stream pipeline.
Okay.
It's a pipeline that carries natural gas from
yes.
Russia to, I think, mostly Germany, but also to a little bit of other European countries. It blew up.
Yeah, right.
And people were saying, well, the people who were doing the investigating said that it wasn't Russia that blew it up.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there was just recently a journalist came out saying that, and he only had one reference. And
it wouldn't say who it was.
Right.
Either.
And that the U.S. was doing like a naval training in the area in 2022, June of 2022, and they think that they planted the bombs then and then exploded them now. And even Biden was quoted as saying something like, if something along the lines of, if Russia crosses the border, then the Nord Stream 2
will be no more.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that on Breaking Points too. I was like, oh my, it makes sense though. I would not put it past the U.S. to do that, right?
Right.
I mean, we're assholes.
Well, and
number one assholes.
Something they said on Breaking Points was like, if they found one Russian bolt on that,
on
that thing,
for sure,
they would have been like, Russia.
Exactly, just like that Chinese spy balloon, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I think I have a news article here.
Nice.
So the Ohio East Palestine train derailment.
East Palestine train derailment
in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Where all the chemicals have
East
been.
Palestine.
That's the name of the town.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, the EPA, when they said that the water was okay to drink,
no,
the tests that they had were only preliminary tests that were paid for by the train company.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I heard some other story. I couldn't find it, but some residents of the town were saying that the trains couldn't run until the okay for the city residents to go back to town, right? And so they had laid down new track, and by the time they'd given the residents the okay to come back to town, that train had already was moving through the town already to get that freight moving.
Huh.
Isn't that fucking crazy? Yeah.
Well, and I heard a bunch of the presidential candidates and stuff wouldn't go there. And it's like, of course they don't want to go there.
Biden
it's fucking
fucked
poison
up.
gases.
Biden, during this whole little shebang, he fucking took a surprise trip to Ukraine. Fucking idiot. And then gave Trump this perfect opportunity. So Trump went to the train derailment and was like, oh, your president is in some other country. Hopefully he has some money left over for you guys when he gets back. Because he agreed to another $500 million for Ukraine.
That's so crazy.
I just don't understand that.
Well, that goes along with Pence just came out. So he's running for president too.
Sweet.
And he wants to eliminate Social Security and Medicare for the sake of the economy. He wants to eliminate these entitlements, is what I guess they're called.
Yeah, those entitled old folks.
Yeah. And so, maybe we should stop promising $5 million to other countries. I mean, we make all these, offensive-based weapons. Why don't we just focus on... I believe the military is important.
Without a doubt. Very important.
But why wouldn't we start living...
Why are we fucking meddling in some shit way the fuck over there?
Everyone else's wars, man.
Right. And then it's...
And I hate to say that, but we have to start looking at our own people.
There's just such a level of incompetence, I think, in our government that I believe that it's just so rampant. And I think that's why there's the Ohio train derailment thing. It could have been stopped because of the fucking brakes systems on that train were Civil War era.
What the fuck?
And so these companies lobby. So with I can't remember if it was the National Transit or whatever, the board, they try to put these regulations out and they just stop them. They just somehow lobby the politicians, I'm assuming with fucking just tons of money.
Yeah.
And get them to not pass these regulations for they would have been able to stop that train had they had the new style of brakes on there.
Well, and I don't know how much train brakes cost, and I don't know how much money they're giving to lobby people, but I can't imagine one train carrying toxic chemicals. You should have better brakes on it.
It should be mandatory if it's some sort of hazard chem thing. Why would the fuck would you have old brakes on?
Yeah, they they're going to get all their money back from insurance or something.
Oh, and then on top of it, so this area in Ohio, Breaking Points was talking about it. They're just like, this area just is like forever shit on. So there's a chemical,
it's flyover country.
There's like a chemical disposal burning plant like 15 miles away from where this happened.
Okay.
They're going to transport these chemicals all there, and they're just going to store them or burn them off, I guess. Like, what a fucking armpit of the country.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, ever since fucking Epstein, they can kill people, they can do whatever they want, and they don't care what we think.
No, yeah.
And all these other people who don't think for themselves will keep being red and they'll keep being blue.
Yep.
Just because that's the team they root for.
Yes, exactly. They're not thinking. They watch one news channel and that's the news.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like
nuts.
It's the same thing with sports teams. Like I like hockey, and a lot of it's got to do with my family is why I like it. But like I like the act of watching hockey. I'll watch any two teams play hockey because that's enjoyable to me. The game itself.
Hockey's
and the moves and stuff. Yeah. It's like, well, you don't only hunt deer, you also hunt turkey.
Right.
I don't know what other hunting there is.
I would shoot just about anything with my bow that I could eat, I think.
Yeah.
Any four-legged ungulate.
But it's like these people think that it doesn't matter what side they're on, they're not in it for you.
No, yeah.
But how do you change it?
Well, most people just want to burn it all down, right? And start over.
Right.
Which I feel like
is a great option.
I really like that idea, but I feel like it's not reasonable or realistic. So somehow you have to start instigating change from the inside of the system that we have now. Step one, get money out of politics.
Mm-hmm.
And then step two, educate the people somehow better than we are educating them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do we need math class? As much math classes as we do now? Maybe there's some sort of political class that needs to be interjected into.
Well, not even just that, but the news content, you know what I mean, that they're putting out there to educate the people. Mm-hmm. It's almost always biased. So if you were to watch news, you're not even getting, like a realistic take of reality because you're only getting the biased view from the news station.
Yeah, and it's making everyone so unhappy.
It's dividing the country.
Yeah, like, did you see the breaking points on, I don't mean to, shout out breaking points this whole episode, but on Woody Harrelson?
No, I didn't.
He was just recently on SNL, and he was talking about, somebody gave him a movie script about how like the Mexican cartel was going to take over Mexico, and anybody that doesn't do their drugs was going to go to jail. And he was like, I threw that script in the garbage. And it was essentially a mirror of the COVID situation.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was a real script or what. And also making a COVID joke, I feel like it's kind of burnt out. But I guess nobody in the audience laughed. A bunch of left-leaning news outlets were saying, like, he's an anti-vaxxer and this and that. And it's like, it's a comedy program. Like, it's like, I think a lot of what Dave Chappelle talks about, and Andrew Schultz and stuff, and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you start, where is the line where, like, people should not be getting their news from SNL?
Yeah, no kidding. Right.
But maybe we're living in a time that they do.
There is no, besides breaking points, in independent media, there's really not, and it's people don't even really know about independent media. Every time I talk to somebody about breaking points, besides you, nobody fucking knows what it is, And
well, I wouldn't know what it is without you.
Yeah, I know. I tell everybody about it, but yeah, it's really wild.
Yeah, I think people hear things. And they don't, like, even if I hear things that I don't agree with, I gotta try to, take something out of it. You know, whether it be that place to get my information is inaccurate, but even Fox News tells a biased story, so there's got to be a middle ground.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good luck finding it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not huge into politics.
You know what? Speaking of the fucking COVID, not to beat a dead cow, I got a little news story here. There's been some new intelligence that has contributed to the conclusion that the Energy Department has recently released, where they are saying now, with low confidence, they're saying that the lab leak caused the COVID outbreak. Where before that was pretty taboo and considered racist even to talk about.
Which is just like, you know, these stories from the media covering up, I would think the pipeline explosion would be more important than...
That pipeline explosion happened a little bit longer ago, though, didn't it? Before like the UFO thing started. Right?
I saw it about 2 weeks ago.
God, I could have swore they blew that. I'm gonna look it up real fast.
Well, when I was looking up news articles, all I saw was UFO stuff. I mean, I didn't see anything about this pipeline explosion at all.
It's because it happened the past news cycle.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why.
I wasn't looking up stuff for the show.
Yeah, it was like 4 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's why I was like, yeah, that happened a long time ago. I didn't want to say anything. But...
Well, then I guess I am out for the...
Yeah, fuck Anthony Fauci, though, man. He's the guy that fucking...
No, none of those guys are looking to help us.
It's just, I feel like the whole COVID situation and the way they treated us, it just, that, I think, is probably like the wedge that has started to create the collapsing of, Rome, the United States, because it just eroded the public trust with the governmental system so much. I think, I mean, at least with me personally, that I don't know if there's ever coming back from it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because like they were just so wrong about so many different things.
Well, and you know what? There's definitely a power struggle in our government.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I don't know enough about his true politics. Like, I know some of the things that the news talks about, but Bernie Sanders probably cares a lot about the people of the United States because they're not letting him in.
Yeah, absolutely. The fucking DNC like conspired against the guy.
Yeah. I mean,
fuck.
Just considering how much you distrust the government, that makes me feel like maybe Bernie Sanders is a good candidate.
I would vote for him.
Yeah.
I'd vote for him now. It's just the only thing is he's fucking old as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, so is Joe Biden, but...
And so is Donald Trump.
Yeah. He's just on a little bit more speed, so he seems a little more, up to it.
Coherent.
Fuck. We're fucked. We're not fucked.
No.
I don't think we're fucked.
Be a part of your community.
Yeah.
Step
one.
My wife creates a safe space in her business, Abernathy's, for anybody.
That's weird. Every time I walk in there, somebody's grabbing my ass.
That's me.
Oh, fuck.
But, she is constantly donating to causes that she believes in. And every time you kill a deer, I get a little bit of deer meat.
A little bit of deer meat, baby.
And when I have stuff, I like to think that I give it to you.
They used to have a program called Hunters for the Hungry, I think. My dad...
How are you talking about that?
My dad used to donate...
Because you'd get
deer.
A pin, right?
Yeah, you got, normally you get a little green and yellow pin, but I think you got a gold pin for donating it. And I was like, I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think we had kind of talked about it earlier. You had said it. If I was making $250,000, if I was making $500,000, there'd be no way that anybody that I loved would be struggling.
Oh no, I'd be taking care of everybody.
Yeah,
everybody would be, at least, if not taken care of, I'd be at least trying to set them up, for success.
Yeah,
in their own terms. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And then you know what? If those people are able to start learning how to live above their means, then hopefully they would be able to progress it forward too. But you know what? I'll probably never desire that money, and I'll probably never be able to do the good with it. because it scares me. Money
Yeah.
is evil.
Yeah,
Everybody with money is, to me, insane.
That's weird. There's got to be some good people with money, right? Like some Elon Musk type characters.
Well, I don't know. I'm betting that as fun as that guy seems, he's not a great guy.
Yeah. Don't know the guy.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for coming down,
Yeah,
Justin.
that was a good episode.
Great episode. Thank you guys for listening, whoever you may be.
Yes.
Leave a comment. If you know us, hit us up. Maybe we'll have a guest on sometime.
Yeah. I know Mr. Drish was
Jimmy,
begging to come on the show, so
Jimmy
I mean,
Drish.
maybe he'll be number one.
Yeah. I don't know how many chapters we have left, and maybe we'll do it right after we finish this book, or maybe we'll include the book too. I mean,
Yeah,
Jimmy
we could
Drish
wrap
has got
it.
some
Yeah.
good ideas.
No, yeah. I mean,
It's
Drish is one of them. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
a fucking in the club, dude.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys so much. Be good to yourselves.
Be safe out there.